I want to replace this Mortise style lock with a newer modern doorknob, so I'm going to start by taking out the old lock and components.
So we need to reinforce all this because with this old lock, everything, obviously all these components were in there. And I want to be able to bore a hole for a new lock, so I need to trim this down a smidge. Yeah, that's almost the perfect height. I'll trim it down and then we'll put it in there. We'll glue it in. We'll let it set up. This, basically for now, we're gonna trim this down, put this in with glue and let it set up.
Just marking my interior block so I can trim this down to size. It doesn't have to be exact, just the general idea and that it fully covers the area that you're gonna bore out. I'm gonna glue this into place and let it set up all the way. Once it's fully dry, I'm gonna come back with, I use Bondo in this case, and do my first coat of filler in the hole. Now, if this is a really deep, wide, or big hole, you may need to do multiple coats. Look at the instructions on your filling material to see how thick of layers you can do. You may have to do more than one. I did do a couple of coats. Keep in mind, you can sand Bondo, but the longer you wait, it gets harder. So if it's almost set up, you have a minute with a chisel or something of a scraper to go back and scrape the big ridges off. It's easier to sand it down. Did my couple coats. I finished off with a wood filler for my final coat, and then I did a sand before I moved on. I measured exactly where I wanted to space my jig. I went ahead and just matched the newer doors I had installed on the other parts of the house. You're gonna install your jig and you're gonna make sure it's nice and flush and tight against the door, and then you're gonna go ahead and drill your hole. You can see our layers of the door and our patch that we did and some of the epoxy. So now that I've taken my core out, I can go the rest of the way because that was kind of holding me up, or you can go from the other side because see the hole through there? You could put the tip of your bit in the other side and go straight through. So a lot of times that's what I'll do. So we can flip it around and go from that side or just finish from here. All right, so there's our hole, at least this one. Leave your template on. This Milwaukee kit that I'm using, this actually has this piece that goes in here for this cut. However, you need an attachment to go on the bit to get it through. I have used this over the years for so many different things. I don't have it. So I'm gonna use this 1-inch spade bit. Use this, it's gonna help you go straight. You gotta be kind of careful making sure you get it straight because if you go at an angle, it's gonna mess it up. So use the appropriate piece. Just wanna tell you why I'm not using this and I'm using this. I lost the attachment. So now I have my 1-inch hole going through and I have my bore for my doorknob here. I can take my template off. Now, if you don't wanna chisel out the space for your latch, you can flip this off and switch it for the circle. Sometimes I have an easier time with these than others, and I don't know why. So we're gonna pop that off, the plate, the metal, the match part. Then we're gonna slide this piece off the back. For me, that's garbage. Then what I'm gonna do is we're gonna slide this guy on, and it's gonna click into place where you got that and that. And you heard it click when I slide it on. Okay, now we're just installing a doorknob like normal. It's kind of funny because you can actually see in the door all of our patches from getting rid of that old lock. So you can see our door, our patch that we wood glued in, and then the back side of the door. And then you can see where we use the epoxy to patch the hole. Kind of see the components there too. So door, our patch, and some of that epoxy filler, and then our wood filler. So you can see the work of what we've done. So you're gonna put your lock centerpiece in just like towards your door. So our door goes that way. So we wanna make sure that when it closes, it catches and goes like that because our door is closing that way. So pay attention to this. We're gonna put this in. The other thing I'm gonna look at before I hit this in all the way is you are going to want to, these adjust. And so it can either go there, or if you adjust this over, it's if you have a lock that is inset more that way. And so for our size, we're gonna go like that. And then we're gonna slide this in nice and straight. And if you need to, you can kind of hit that in with a rubber mallet, but I was able to get it in nice and tight. Okay, so we have this piece in. We have, again, so it can, right here, this is what I'm talking about. This will catch and go into the latch over there, which we have to add because the old one's not gonna work now. So see how you have this curve right in there? That curve is gonna fit in there. So we're gonna go right through like that. We're pulling these two. So the bolts that don't have sharp tips, just gonna hold this in place as we go to the back side. On the back side of our lock, that curved piece that we fit through, if you look at the interior portion, See, there's this curved piece. We're gonna have to hit that little center piece, which goes to where this turns, and it looks like it's plastic. That's gonna go inside that hole, and the curve is gonna go there. So we're just gonna align this. Then I'm gonna line those two little holes up where I can get my bolts started. And you kind of just gotta feel, you can kind of look from the top right here, but you kind of just gotta feel for it. You can get them started a little bit. Okay, once you get one, tighten it enough that's gonna kind of hold it in place, because then it should make it easier for you to line the other one up if you put it in straight too. So I'm just kind of hand tightening this, and then I'm gonna try to put this bolt straight in. We have to also do the catch in this part of the door. So what I like to do, some people will put like chalk or lipstick or something on this so it catches and you know. I just like to look in and kind of make a mark of where I want that to go. And then I know where I'm gonna drill that hole. I'm gonna remove this old stuff because it's in our way. Now we actually have that old hole there, so I'm just gonna kind of test and see if it goes in the right spot. And it kind of seems like it does. All right, I love this thing. If you've never seen one of these, this basically makes it where you drill in the center of your whatever you're trying to work around. So it goes right there, and then it goes in, and it gives you a nice centered drill mark instead of kind of doing it to the edge or kicking over. So I really like this for something like that where you don't want your hole to be to the side and then to cant your piece. So what I did here was I just wanted to see if this would work or if I needed to bore it out and set it back like I did for this one up here. There's enough space where this will actually work. So right now, I want to tell you guys, this is temporary. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put these short little screws in here. Some of you have commented on my other videos because I am going to come back. Right now, I just want to be able to lock this with our electronic lock and have the new doorknob and hole so we can paint the door. I am going to come back and you can fill this with epoxy except for this section here or wood filler, and then you can sand this all down like we did the door, make it more aesthetically pleasing, and then you won't have these weird holes here. This is just so we can secure the house. I'm going to put these short screws in here. Everyone has said, if you haven't heard it before, replace these with a longer screw. This is what comes with it, but that's only going to go to the built-in frame of the door. When you frame out a house, back here, there's going to be more framing, like a 2x4. So if you put a longer screw, this is going to make your home more secure because it doesn't just go into the frame, it goes into the framing of the structure. If you put like a 3-inch screw in, it's going to go deeper back. This is temporary because I'm going to take it off when I paint the house. Actually, you know what? I have a long screw here. Let's just go ahead and do it. I use my centering bit to get this where I want it. We're going to go ahead and drill this back deeper so it doesn't want to split on us. So we're going to take a super long screw. We're going to put that in place, and we're going to use this instead of what they gave us. And this is going to add to our security. So now if someone tries to kick your door in, got a little bit of extra reinforcement. Then when we're ready to paint the door, we can paint all of this madness and make sure it looks like this was never here.